And this is look, I said before, the big talented man will always beat the small talented fighter.
One of the most highly anticipated matchups in boxing is a potential showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Both reigning world champions have expressed interest in a fight that could define their era. Crawford, in particular, has shown a strong.
I'll be going for Bud. You know, if he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he gonna win or lose, but
Although Canelo Alvarez was previously indifferent to this matchup, stating he wouldn't receive credit for such a victory, he has recently become more open to considering serious offers. With both fighters seeking high-profile opponents and no major bouts currently scheduled, the chances of this fight happening in 2025 have significantly increased. Despite his complicated relationship with Canelo, Oscar de la Hoya has also shared his thoughts on a potential showdown between the Mexican superstar and Terence Crawford.
Terence Crawford says he wants to fight Canelo. He's changed his tune. He said he's willing to move up 3 weight divisions. To me, that's kind of crazy, but that just shows you, like, man, the dog that's in Terence Crawford. If Canelo is victorious...
De la Hoya insists that his predictions regarding any potential fight involving Canelo are unbiased. The former world champion has a bold opinion on the outcome of this hypothetical matchup, believing that Canelo's greater size and power would give him a clear advantage over Crawford at 154 pounds. Crawford didn't really look too dangerous in the ring against a beast, so imagine Canelo being the bigger guy, being a beast. It's almost like a no contest. I mean, come on, when has a smaller good guy ever beaten a bigger good guy? It's rare. De La Hoya told Fight Hub TV, despite Crawford's renowned technical ability and punching power, he would face a significant physical challenge in taking on Canelo at his natural weight.
Terence Crawford will beat Canelo anytime. Anytime. Because
while some experts believe Terence Crawford has the skills to compete with Canelo, the significant disparity in size and power could be a decisive factor. For now, the future of this potential fight remains uncertain, as both fighters have existing commitments. The possibility of an agreement would depend on several factors, including contract negotiations and strategic decisions from both camps. Few fighters have shared the ring with both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. The only man to do so professionally is Amir Khan, who suffered stoppage defeats to both. He has already shared his thoughts on how a potential Crawford versus Canelo matchup would play.
What do I think of that fight?
Yeah.
I think that, everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big. He's a little big for Crawford.
There are a few others who have sparred with both fighters, and one of them has now shared his take on how this fantasy clash could unfold. That man is middleweight contender Kieran Davis, who also faced fellow Canelo rival David Benavidez back in November 2021. Having sparred with both Crawford and Canelo, Davis told Mill City Boxing that he believes it would be an extremely tough challenge for Crawford and favors Alvarez to secure the victory. Canelo is a big guy. It's going to be a lot. He can take a punch, so you're not going to hurt Canelo. I don't think Crawford can hurt him.
It'll be a lot to get that victory based on, size alone. Not that size wins fights, but you got a guy that got size and skill.
He has to land clean shots and work the body, but it's going to be a tough task. Canelo can really fight. He has moves, he sets traps, and it's not easy. In boxing, nothing is impossible, but if I had to bet, I'd put my money on Canelo. I'm not taking anything away from Crawford, but Canelo is great. Can Canelo stop him? He's the bigger guy, and I think one punch could do it, Davis said.
Crawford throwing his hat in to want to fight Canelo at 168.
I mean, everybody wants to fight Canelo. It's the money fight, you know what I mean? I think even Inoue would come up to fight Canelo if Canelo wanted to fight him. I mean, I don't want to see Crawford to fight Canelo, to be honest.
Bud moved up to the 154 pounds category for his last fight and beat Israel Madrimov via decision. He now holds the WBO interim super categories.
But it would be. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a great fight. It would be a great fight, but I feel like if I deserve my opportunity, and I'm gonna. After this fight, what else are you gonna say?
Said, to be honest with you, Crawford is one of the best technical fighters I have ever seen. When he went to 154, I'm not saying he had problems, but he looked like he didn't have the power he had at 147, and he'd still have to come up 2 or 3 weight classes. Crawford is a one-of-a-kind fighter, but weight classes must be respected. I'd give Canelo the edge. Benavidez has spent the majority of his career at 147 pounds, hence he has to move up significantly in weight to take on Canelo in super middleweight. Benavidez, meanwhile, has long been touted as a fighter who could trouble Canelo inside the squared circle. A dream showdown between the two Mexicans, though, hasn't materialized yet.
You know what I mean? This is a tough fight. You know, the top WBC, the top people ranked at the WBC are fighting each other. So I mean, it shouldn't be. It should be an easy call. If I can't get those fights, then I'll go up to fight Bivol, or I'll go try to, you know, I set my conquest on 175.
In a recent interview, Benavidez stated, "To be honest with you, Crawford is one of the best technical fighters I have ever seen. When he moved up to 154, I'm not saying he had problems, but he didn't seem to have the same power he had at 147, and he'd still have to climb 2 or 3 more weight classes. Crawford is a one-of-a-kind fighter, but weight classes must be respected. I'd give Canelo the edge." Benavidez has spent most of his career at 147 pounds, meaning he would need to move up significantly to challenge Canelo at super middleweight. Meanwhile, Benavidez the fast-handed Benavidez is set to face David Morrell in his next fight on February 1st. Meanwhile, a potential clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford has captured the imagination of boxing fans worldwide. Following his dominant victory over Errol Spence Jr., Crawford has openly expressed his desire to challenge the Mexican super middleweight champion. Widely regarded as the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world, Crawford would be taking on a monumental challenge by moving up 2 weight classes to face Canelo. However, the road to this historic bout will be anything but easy. Former super middleweight world champion Demetrius Andrade has...
I love Crawford. He's a good friend. You know, we reach out to each other. We've traveled the world through the amateur program. He see me beat people up. I see him beat people up. He see me get beat up. I got beat up. We both...
I love Crawford. He's a good friend. We reach out to each other, and we've traveled the world together through the amateur program. He saw me beat people up, and I saw him beat people up. I think the stories could go on, but when it comes to weight and power, that stuff's real. Demetrius Andrade said in an interview with Fight Hub TV. Andrade, who was once linked to a fight with Canelo himself,
wanting to fight Canelo 3 divisions up. Good idea, bad idea?
I don't remember sizes of Terence Crawford.
Welterweight.
If he big, actually...
Maybe he's probably...
I don't think Crawford can beat Canelo, but I still think he can give him a good fight. And I'll be sitting there rooting for Canelo all day, Andrade added. However, some believe otherwise, arguing that Crawford is skilled enough to trouble Canelo despite the weight difference. Meanwhile, Dmitry Bivol was asked to share his thoughts on a highly discussed potential battle between Canelo Alvarez, one of boxing's biggest stars, and Terence Crawford, widely regarded as one of the finest fighters in the sport today.
Came to the boxing gym, one of the first lessons which I should learn, it's like, you should respect weight classes. You know, yeah, what it means. But Terence Crawford now is one of the...
I remember when I first came to the boxing gym, one of the first lessons I learned was that you should respect weight classes. But Terence is one of my favorite active fighters. He has very good skills. Maybe he could show us something special. He already knows what to do, and his coach will find a solution, Bivol said. When asked directly whether Crawford could beat Canelo, Bivol responded, "I can imagine it." This statement highlights how highly Bivol regards Crawford's abilities, despite the challenge of facing a naturally larger opponent. Bivol...
Someone told me to study Canelo, study Crawford. Crawford about to beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo.
Hall of Famer and ESPN boxing analyst Timothy Bradley Jr. favors Terence Crawford in a potential matchup against Saul Canelo Alvarez. Bradley took to his YouTube channel to make his case for Crawford. pushing back against concerns about the weight difference. Everyone keeps talking about the weight, Bradley said. Indeed, Crawford only recently moved up to 154 pounds, while Alvarez has been competing at 168 pounds since late 2020. Oh, he's going to knock him out? When the hell was the last time Canelo knocked somebody out? It has been a while, Bradley added. Alvarez last secured a stoppage victory against Caleb Plant in November 2021.
You started in Mexico, man. Go back, get one of those guys out of there, man. Go back, start there. That's where you start. Go back to your roots, bro. Get some of that humble pie, bro. Go back, start where you started. Start where you started at.
Since then, Canelo has failed to knock out established opponents like Dmitry Bivol in a loss and a 40-year-old Gennady Golovkin. He has also gone the distance against fighters considered to be far below his skill level, such as John Ryder, Jamie Munguia, and Edgar Berlanga. Jermall Charlo, naturally a junior middleweight, also went the distance with Canelo, though he was nowhere near competitive against the super middleweight king. You all can quit with that he's going to knock Crawford out. Come on, man, Bradley said. Didn't we just see Alexander Usyk fight Tyson Fury, who was supposedly 50 pounds heavier? Bradley also pointed out that Canelo and Crawford are the same height, and Canelo is not a natural 168-pounder. Usyk is a great fighter, absolutely. But you know who else is great? Crawford. The great ones know how to figure it out.
Just with Canelo, obviously, he had his fight with Edgar Berlanga announced recently. Not received necessarily a positive outcome and reaction he'd have liked. What did you make of the Canelo Berlanga?
Bradley highlighted Crawford's 74-inch reach, which is 3.5 inches longer than Canelo's, as a key advantage. He also emphasized Crawford's ability to limit opponents' output with his counterpunching, a major factor against Alvarez, who is already a low-output fighter. Bradley believes Crawford can win a decision by working from a distance, landing straight shots between Canelo's looping hooks, and tiring him out down the stretch. Don't go running away from the fight now, Canelo, Bradley said, referencing the unified super middleweight champion's perceived avoidance of David Benavidez. Mocking Canelo's voice, Bradley added, "Remember what you said? Easy fight, easy fight, easy fight, easy fight." While some analytical boxing minds agree with Bradley's perspective, the majority in the fight game believe the size and power difference is too great for Crawford to overcome, making it difficult for him to impose his skills on Canelo.
But listen, I think Berlanga's a talented kid who's getting better. He's improved recently. I think he still needs more seasoning, but I see an improvement in him. He is.
Bradley, known for his strong and often controversial opinions, remains confident in his unpopular take. "I'm going to get back to my Haterade," he joked toward the end of his video, sipping his drink. You already know. Whether the boxing world will witness a Canelo versus Crawford showdown ultimately seems to depend on Alvarez's willingness to take the fight. Crawford, who became the undisputed welterweight champion in July 2023 after stopping Errol Spence Jr. inside 9 rounds, added another milestone to his.
Everybody that believes in hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo, just like they knew Bud was going to beat Spence.
After picking up the undisputed super middleweight title in 2021, he fell short in a challenge against the then World Boxing Association light heavyweight champion Dmitry Bivol, but the 34-year-old has since picked up 5 wins on the spin, defeating the likes of Gennady Golovkin, Jermall Charlo, and Edgar Berlanga along the way. Legendary boxing trainer turned analyst Teddy Atlas has offered his insight to Fight Hub TV into the potential mega fight between the two stars, stating that he would find it hard to go against the American southpaw. Very few people have the appetite or inclination for challenging themselves. Mr. Crawford does. I ain't never going against that guy. Father Time might catch him, but I don't know if a weight class can catch him.
It's real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say that. Hey, Terry's going to get in there and do what he needs to do. Perform.
It's a tremendous challenge because Canelo is a tremendous fighter. He's bigger, stronger, and he can punch and time you. But just because you're smaller doesn't mean you can't win. Crawford will come up with a game plan that forces the other guy to use his size, Teddy Atlas explained. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, Brian Bomack McIntyre, Crawford's longtime trainer, offered high praise for the undefeated champion, who has been linked to a potential showdown with Canelo in May or September. Crawford has all the tools to win a third undisputed title in a different weight class, McIntyre said. He also dismissed doubts about Crawford's ability to handle the size difference, adding, "Any hardcore boxing fan knows Crawford can beat Canelo. You have to really know boxing to be able to say that." On Conor Benn's performance, Brian Bomack, McIntyre didn't hold back. "I think he looked like trash. I didn't watch the fight, but some of the coaches were watching it while I was driving, and they just said he looked like trash," McIntyre said. He acknowledged Pete Dobson gave Ben a tough fight, but wasn't impressed. "I know Pete Dobson really well, and he gave him a tough fight, but I don't think much of Ben. I really don't know him. I just heard his name." He added, when asked about Ben calling out Gervonta Tank Davis, McIntyre questioned the decision. Why would he go down there and pick on guys at 135 and 140? Why not mess with guys at 147 and 154 and call those guys out? "If you really want to fight somebody, fight the best," he said. Sharing his thoughts on Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman, McIntyre predicted a competitive bout. "I think it's going to be a good fight. Tszyu has a momentum because Keith has been out for a while," he concluded. "It's going to be a tough fight to call right now, but I can see it going Tszyu's way just because he has a momentum," McIntyre said. Thurman doesn't have that momentum. It's like riding a bike. He's been at a high level for many years, but he's been inactive. McIntyre will be in the corner for rising star Keyshawn Davis this Thursday in Las Vegas, ahead of the Super Bowl on Sunday. He expects a stellar performance, crediting Davis's meticulous preparation. "I want him to win a few titles, conquer multiple divisions, and let his body grow. He's only 25 years old," McIntyre pointed out. "But 7 or 8 years from now, we could be calling him one of the greatest to ever lace up the gloves."
Crawford coming back, what are the plans for him?
I think he is injured now. We are planning to have something with him. I will discuss with him maybe in January. I see him last week in Hamburg. He said he's have a little injured, and he's started.
"It's a process you must go through to be called that. I'm glad he is starting that process," McIntyre said about Keyshawn Davis. He praised Davis's energy and preparation, emphasizing the importance of discipline. "He's on the big stage, and the sparring has been good, so he's ready. It's all about training every day, working on strategy, watching how he eats and sleeps, and keeping a close eye on him from the moment he wakes up to when he goes to bed. That's my job," McIntyre concluded. Meanwhile, it's no secret that former two-weight undisputed champion Terence Crawford wants a showdown with Canelo Alvarez. However, the fight appears difficult to make, fueling rumors of Crawford's potential retirement from boxing.
To rehab now and training again, and we hope to. He's one of our plan to see him.
During Terence Crawford's last fight against Israel Madrimov last year, His Excellency Turki Alshik reached out to Canelo Alvarez's team to negotiate the highly anticipated bout. However, a breakdown in communication between the parties led Alshik to withdraw the offer. Eddie Hearn, who discussed a potential fight with Canelo, also doesn't see it materializing. He suggested that Canelo prefers opponents who will stand and trade punches rather than move strategically around the ring, which is something Crawford may have to do due to his size disadvantage. Meanwhile, Alshik has floated another possibility that Crawford may face interim WBC super welterweight champion Virgil Ortiz Jr. instead.
25.
The goal obviously is a Canelo fight for him, right?
We hope he wants this fight, and why not?
You and Canelo, I know you guys are working towards trying to do a...
To be honest with you, Crawford is one of the best technical fighters I have ever seen, David Benavidez said. When he moved up to 154, I'm not saying he had problems, but he didn't seem to have the same power he had at 147. And now he'd have to move up 2 or 3 more weight classes. Benavidez acknowledged Crawford's elite skill set, but emphasized the challenge of size differences in boxing. Crawford is a one-of-a-kind fighter, but weight classes must be respected. I give Canelo the edge. That wraps up the latest on this highly debated potential fight. For the very best updates on news, events, and action in the world of boxing, stay connected with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications to stay informed when we drop quality content. Until next time, peace out.